Luke begins by telling us about the story of two of Jesus's disciples, the companion. These are not the two of the 12 that were with Jesus. The extended community around Jesus. These were among them, and these are going on their way back to Jerusalem on the same day of the resurrection, and they are talking about, in some way, their disappointment and how that they had hoped that Jesus would have been the one to liberate them from the Roman rule. So they are on their way going, and they are so caught up with their conversation that when Jesus comes and begins to walk with them, they don't even notice him until he asks them what they are discussing. First of all, we realize that Jesus is not just limiting himself after his resurrection to the 12 apostles, but he showed himself to others. We also recognize that when Jesus was risen, when Mary saw him in the garden, she did not know it was Jesus until he called her name. The two disciples on the way to Emmaus don't recognize Jesus yet. There's something going on here that they don't recognize Jesus, but he is talking with them. He asked them, what is it that you are discussing as you're walking along? Cleopas, who's named in this, the other disciple is not named, but Cleopas is named. Are you the only one in this community who does not know what has happened in these last few days? Jesus says, what? You see, this is at the point now where if you don't know who you're talking to, you can ready spill the beans. And then when you discover who you've been talking to, you say, oops, did I say that? You know, from time to time, I watched this thing, Undercover Boss, you know, people from the CEOs from companies go undercover and work with their employees, and the employees do not know that these are the CEOs, and they will be asking them questions, and sometimes they get an earful. and then the employees discover, is it for real? Is he the CEO? This is that situation. Jesus now is walking with them and asks them, and they don't know that this is Jesus, and Jesus is going to get an earful. They're going to tell him in some way their disappointment. They had hoped that Jesus was going to be the one to redeem them. And all of their hopes were in him, and then it is all dashed. He was executed. He was a great prophet of God, and we believe in him. And then what? So they are telling him everything that they have on their mind. I mean, there's no holding back. And after they are done explaining all to him, he said, oh, how slow of heart you are. And he begins to explain to them scripture, beginning with Moses and the prophet, and explain to them. And I guess at this point they are caught up, they're listening to him, and they are going along. As you're walking on the road, you're not looking so much at the person you're talking, you're listening to the person and walking, I'm assuming. And they're talking, I mean, Jesus now has the opportunity to explain to them more of what they do not know. And as they get to Emmaus, Jesus pretends to be going further. He said, no, stay with us. Evening is at hand. It is getting dark. Come and spend the night with us. There have been all kinds of suggestions about whether this was the home of a husband and wife, or two brothers or two sisters. I mean, whatever the configuration may have been, but the two persons seemed to live in the same house, and so they invited Jesus to come and spend the night. So he comes in with them. They apparently get the meal ready. Jesus then becomes the host, because you will think that the people who have invited Jesus, Cleopas and his companion, will be the one to say grace. Guess who says grace? Jesus. He takes the bread. He breaks the bread after saying the blessing. Their eyes are open. He vanishes. Wow! That was Jesus. My God, did I tell him all? And I said, I will have to say, now he has heard it all. What can he do again? You know, You had an opportunity to really say it all, and Jesus listened to you, and he had been using this opportunity to teach you. There was something different about him. Our hearts were burning within us as he spoke to us on the road. Now, I don't know whether they sat down and had meal before they took off to go to Jerusalem, but Luke tells us that they got up from table and went back to Jerusalem. Just imagine, they had traveled already some 7 miles to come back. They got up at evening and went back to Jerusalem because they just can't keep this story to themselves. We have got to go back and tell the others, he is alive. He appeared to us. And he broke bread with us. These two disciples are the first two to experience the breaking of the bread after the resurrection. Jesus breaks bread with them, and behold, their eyes are open and he vanishes from their sight. They have to go back to Jerusalem and say, not only what the women have said, he has appeared to us, he has broken bread with us, we have behold the one who is risen for us. And tell the 11. The excitement of the story will not let them stay put. You and I have to get to that place where when we break bread, we want to leave this place with an excitement to tell somebody he is alive, and because he lives, we too can live and face life challenges because he walks with us and he talks with us. He is alive. They went back to Jerusalem to tell the other disciples. They will not stay put. They will not let the night go by. We cannot spend the night. We have to go back and tell the others, the 11 and the other companions, that Jesus is indeed alive. The women came early this morning and they said it. We can attest to it. He is alive because he walked with us on the road back to Emmaus. He opened to us scripture. He told us from Moses and the prophet. He began to reveal to us that which was being said about him in scripture. And our hearts were burning within us, but we just couldn't ask him, who are you? We couldn't ask that question. And we got near Emmaus and we invited him to come and spend the night. What if they had not invited Jesus to spend the night with them? Would he have gone on? Would they have missed the opportunity? We do not know. But thank God they invited him to spend the night with them, and he was able to break bread and open their eyes. How I pray that God will break bread with us. Jesus will break bread as we celebrate the Holy Eucharist. He will break bread with us, open our eyes to behold his hand at work in the world about us. That we will see what he will have us to see and do that which he will have us to do to his honor and glory. Our hearts burn within us as he was teaching us. May our hearts burn within us as he gets nearer to us, as he teaches us what he will have us to know, that we may be witnesses of the good news. For I tell you, my brothers and sisters, our world needs to hear the good news because so many out there are living aimlessly and hopelessly because life is just too difficult for them. They need the words of hope. They need to know that this too shall pass. And they need someone to be able to reassure them because that one has been through it in a different way, but has been through life journey and is continuing with life journey. And we need to be able to reassure people that yes, things may be difficult today, but tomorrow will come, and then some. As he broke bread with them and opened their eyes and they beheld him, he vanished from their sight. And they got up from table and went back to Jerusalem to tell the others, may we go to our own Jerusalems, wherever they may be, and tell others that he is indeed alive, and because he lives, we will live and face tomorrow and then some. As you have come in this morning, whatever those concerns of life may be that you have brought, may you know that the one who walked with the disciples on the road to Emmaus knows what you have brought with you this morning. And he has heard your prayer, and he will do something about it. I do not know what, but this much I know, he will do something about it because he loves you so. You are precious in his sight. And may all that he has be yours this day and always.